Some of the iniquities that African Americans face when it comes to HIV, if not stigma in itself, is sometimes access to care. There's a lot of medical mistrust due to the history of African Americans with medical systems in the Americas. That a lot of people don't want to go to the doctor's office, and sometimes because of how some doctors are not well trained on how to deal with LGBTQ persons, it's like you're not going to get the type of care that you need. And sometimes that ends up being a big issue because now somebody who wants to get on medication or wants to get treatment, they don't feel comfortable going to the place where they are to receive that treatment. So I have a medical mistrust. That's one of the biggest iniquities, as well as access to the care as well. It's not as easy for everybody. Some people don't have cars, and if you're living in the rural area, it's a little bit harder to get to your treatment, if at all you can get to your treatment if you have the means to get to your treatment. So the media plays a big role in the stigma of HIV in the Black African American community, just by how they bring it out. It's funny when TV shows do, let's say, that special episode about HIV, like it's a big dramatic thing. They make it seem so scary. And I feel like in doing that, it brings a negative stigma because although it's saying, HIV awareness, but you're also putting this big umbrella over it, you're putting this big box over it, which then can make people actually fearful, want to talk about it or discuss about it. And I feel like there should be a sense of normalization when it comes to talking about it on TV and shows, maybe a character with HIV, but not just focusing on him like, oh yeah, he's the red dot character, but just normalizing it more in commercials, in music, and not in a negative way. When you hear HIV as it pertains to like music, let's say rap and hip hop, which a lot of people in the African American community listen to, it's always used, HIV is always used as a weapon. It's a negative thing. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to catch that or this and that. And if we could switch that around to more of a positive message, it could bring more clarity to a lot of people, who have no idea about HIV. Organizations play a pivotal role about, this furthering education about the health of black folk, black people, whatever word feels more comfortable with you. Especially because there's not a one-size-fits-all solution. So if you're intending to help a group, you have to actually know the group you are intending to help. So like patient-informed care, where you get information from the person, say, how may I help you? So when it comes to organizations playing their roles in helping those in the African American community, they have to actually get more involved in that community, know what it's about, study that community, not just going and doing a survey here or there. I'm talking about like a real deep ethnographic research where you are living within that community, knowing these people and how they get along, how they interact. I think in doing that, because first, in order to educate people, you must educate yourself about that people or those sets of people. So that's just my whole thing. Organizations have a great role to play, but it starts with them educating themselves. What I have to say about ending the epidemic, I feel like, in my personal opinion, in order to end the epidemic, the cure to HIV, to say, in my eyes, is actually community. Because if people build better communities, there would be better discussions, better education, community-focused engagements, community-focused education groups, and I think the numbers will go down astronomically and then eventually stop. But because our communities beyond health are not as unified as they should, whether it comes to education, whether it comes to civic engagement, security, safety, job, employment, and all that. So I think those all play a pivotal role in your health, because I think, more wealth, better health, in my opinion. So I think in ending the epidemic, African American communities who are the most, at risk for, well, African American men who are the most at risk for HIV, they really need to form better communities, positive community where they could actually engage one another, where they could actually look out for one another. And what's funny is you kind of see this in the idea of houses that they have in the voguing world and in the ballroom world, and those type of subgroups are great, and historically those type of groups have always helped in many different situations as it pertains to the communities that they serve. So if we can have more of those, but from different distinctions, more small sub-communities that can help the bigger community. Because the only way we can stop HIV is by working together and acting as one and not individuals. Thank you.